Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode. As you can see, we got this Pontiac in the booth. The guys are looking it over, doing a final polish on it before it gets loaded up in the trailer in the morning and heads back to Utah. I just wanted to do a quick walk around of the car real fast to kind of show you guys how it came out after it got sanded and buffed. I think the guys did a fantastic job on this thing. This is a friend of Taylor's that he's known for a very long time out in Utah, like I mentioned. And he wanted to do the car here, so I told him go for it, bring it on down and let's get it done. So here it is, all looking nice and shiny again. I'm super excited for him and his buddy and can't wait to hear all about it. And I think they're actually going to take the camera with them and head out that way and film the whole process. So looking forward to seeing that as well. Man, how awesome is this truck? Finally, we got it back from Trey 5. This is Larry Gloria's C10 we've been working on for a while. The one that Victor's been doing the body work on the bed on. So next week, we'll get the hood put on this truck. We'll finalize the gaps, and then we'll start blocking this thing out and see what we got to do to finish it up to get it painted. Just a quick look at the progress on Stevens 6400. Taylor has all the glass work done around all the welds. Next thing he'll do is finalize everything with the regular filler, and then he'll move on to the roof and the tops of the doors, etc. So hopefully next week we'll have even more done on this thing. Just like I said earlier, the guys loaded up the Pontiac and they're on their way to Utah right now. So we're pretty much done with this for the week. We'll be back on this again on Monday. So we finally got all the metal work done on Victor's truck here. The next step for this thing is going to be pulling it apart and prepping each panel and stripping all the E-coat off and then getting them put into epoxy primer. First thing we're probably going to start with today is going to be the cowl. We'll get this in the booth hopefully later on today and get that in epoxy primer, and then probably the beginning of next week we'll start pulling panels off this thing and starting to finalize each piece and putting it into epoxy primer. So we should have everything primed up sometime next week, and then from there we'll be able to start doing body work. So we got Preston's truck here. We're doing the firewall, we're doing the inner tubs, we're bedlining the inside and the underside. Before we can do any of that stuff, we've got to hammer and dolly the firewall, make sure we get our low spots out, our high spots knocked down, and then we're gonna have to clean up all of this surface rust and then mask it up, send it off to the paint booth, and shoot it with some epoxy primer. After that, we can begin our body work, and then from there, obviously, go to paint. Okay, so we talked about earlier in the week my dually going next door to Trey 5 on Thursday. Well, it actually made it there yesterday, and they've already started cutting the body lines in on the cab side. So let's take a walk next door and check out the progress on that. Notice the weld paper to protect the glass. True professional here. What's, oh, it's Trey 5 day, huh? Let's see. No, it looks like Southwest day. Oh, look at that guy.
What kind of shirt does he have on?
Oh, look at him. He's all dressed up nice.
I don't got a little black button on my shirt like you do.
Oh, you're going to play golf today, huh?
Golf tournament this weekend, yeah.
Oh,
Mark and I are going to
good luck.
kill everybody from the white tees. That sucks.
Your new video is really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then, everybody should go to my channel and watch the new video because it's probably the worst one views-wise we've done in a while. It's kind of one of those safer practices. Like I said, I think it'll be fine.
Oh.
Don't mind the paint.
All right, lots of fun stuff going on in here. Just got some of the stuff for Victor's core support in today from Trey 5. Blasted a couple of the pieces. This one won't fit in the blast cabinet, so I'll have to do this one by hand. We got some brackets to my truck ready to epoxy prime. I've got Victor's cowl in here, all sanded down and blasted and ready to be epoxy primed after we clean it. We got one of the wheel wells for Preston's truck in here ready for epoxy primer, and we're going to get the other one ready first before we shoot all this stuff, and then we'll just move on to the next thing, which will be the firewall for Preston's truck. I reinforced and glued the firewall in a couple spots where it needed it earlier today, so If that's dry enough by the end of the day, maybe we'll start prepping on that, but most likely that'll be next week. And then of course next week we're going to be blowing apart Victor's truck and stripping that E-coat off of there and getting each piece of that truck into epoxy primer as well. And then we'll get that truck put back together. And I think, well actually we've got to get the side trim all mounted and make sure all that's good. So we got a bunch of holes to drill in the side of the truck, technically before we should be starting body work. So we got a lot to do, a ton going on, and we're just gonna keep on plugging through it. All right, we got a ton of parts loaded in the booth, metal prepped and clean, and ready for some epoxy primer. We've got parts for Preston's truck, those fenders. We've got parts for Victor's truck, and we've also got some parts for my truck. We've been hard at it, me and my son, all day, getting all this stuff ready to go. So we're gonna go mix up some epoxy primer and come back in here and lay it down. All right, we got everything in epoxy primer. Next week, we'll knock out the firewall on Preston's truck, get that in epoxy primer. We'll blow apart Victor's truck and get that thing prepped and cleaned in an epoxy primer. We're gonna prime Larry's bed. We got the bed completely finished, the tailgate finished. All we gotta do is a small little section in between the roll pan and the tailgate, that little flat spot in there. And then we gotta fit the taillights. Once those two things are done, we can bring that bed in here and shoot that with some polyester primer as well. We'll be continuing on the 6400. Got a lot going on around here. This is a lot that happened in the last couple of days, nevertheless, the last week. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week on the next video.